Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are excited to be here today. We are with the Nature Whisperer. Emmaray Kumara is a beautiful soul, a walk-in soul who has an innate ability to tune in to nature, Gaia's living library. And we're going to learn about that and the beautiful lessons that await us as we learn more about this beautiful technique and this beautiful way of living on our planet. In fact, it's why we all came to the planet. Hi, Emmaray. Thank you for being here.
Of course, I'm jealous that you're sitting down there with no sleeves on. Up here in the cooler area of the world, but it's beautiful up here as well. So, but thank you very much for having me. This is a really lovely topic, and I was guided to come in and talk about this after a remembrance of years ago, the Palladians, through Barbara Marciniak, wrote the book Bringers of the Dawn. And in that book, they talked about the living library and how it was created and why. And this came floating into my awareness a few months ago, and they said, we'd really like you to talk about this. So I went back and revisited the book and said, okay, so this information on top of what I innately know is now coming in for me to share today and in a much bigger way in a master class. So I'm excited to be here and to talk about this. It's a profound awareness when you really can embrace it.
Yes, no wonder so many of us are tuned into nature. We are here on a mission for nature. And I want to ask you a bit about your mission. As a walk-in, what is your mission? I would think it's here to reveal the living library of Gaia, because you're so in tune to it. What is your mission as a walk-in, as you're aware of?
Well, that's really fun because it does have a lot to do with that, but I'm kind of a bridge. Any of you who have seen the movie, what is it called, Frozen, the second one, where Ella, I think is her name, it turns out at the end of the movie that she's the fifth element, the bridge. People like me are kind of that. We are, although the fifth element is actually ether, but in that context, that there are those of us who are a bridge. My awareness is very strongly that I am here to give voice to those who have none yet, because they have been forgotten. People have forgotten that everything is speaking to them and how to connect with that. So part of my role is to help people remember, yes, you can hear them, and everybody is speaking, and we are all co-creating together. And how does that all happen? So that's a lot of what my awareness is and why I'm here. And, on our call last August, we also talked about the anchoring of the Paradise Codes, and that was also part of my work coming in. It was also Shanti's who walked out. So when she walked out and I walked in, I picked that responsibility up to complete those codes. So those are the two things that I'm aware of.
Thank you for sharing that. I know we've got a lot to cover as we talk about the living library and tuning into it and the beauty that's there for us. I do have to ask you, as you made your walk-in, because it's just so fascinating. We have a number of people who are remembering their walk-in journeys. What was that like for you integrating into this body. Can you share that with us?
Yes, I'm happy to. And for me, it was because Shanti, it was an organized, orchestrated walkout, and I walked in. And if you want to hear that whole explanation, I encourage you to go back and listen to the previous talk. But it was a very orchestrated. I had a council in a room holding space while Shanti walked out and I walked in. So it was very organized. There was no trauma to the body or illness involved. But when I came in, this is the first time I, as a soul, have been on the earth. I have been part of my family's work. I'm from a different universe, and there are teams around the multiverse, of which you may be one of, who part of our work is to go and do what we call flipping planets. So when planets are in trouble, we come in and we help them remember home. So when I got here, initially I remembered much of my skill set, but I didn't really have a lot of support. And so over time, I dropped my frequency to try to fit in and be able to have a conversation with people that I was meeting. And in that process, I lost access to my gifts. We all know how that feels. And then I had to start, because of that, I had to start learning how to support myself in many avenues. And so that's when my journey here became quite challenging. I was mostly working on the causal and the etheric planes. It's just been recently that I've been coming out and really offering information on this level, because when I came in, we were actively working on creating the New Earth blueprints on the causal level. And then we started spinning them down about 4 or 5 years ago in Earth time, and bringing them into the etheric, where everybody now has access to their part. And so now I'm showing up more physically and doing these lovely talks with Loren and others. And it has, because I have been here, but mostly invisible, and one of the people, of which again, I know there are many, who people say to me, you're way ahead of your time. And so when people say that to a person repeatedly, we have to affirm within ourselves that it is divine right order for us to even be here, because we're constantly being told, what, nobody understands anything you're talking about, So this adds to the take a deep breath, know that I'm here for a reason. And at some point in time, all the little pieces will click and people will understand what I'm saying. And that time has been happening this year, and it's really been a lovely shift for me. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. And all right, so you helped to configure or visualize the new earth in the causal plane.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then, so it's in the etheric plane now,
Yes.
and everyone has access to it. There are some who say, I'm getting chills as I speak, but there are some who have learned that New Earth is a frequency.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
In many, many ways, that is absolutely true, because in the quantum field of reality, everything to some degree is happening in a parallel fashion. And the energy of the butterfly effect, I will venture into bringing that up, affects everything and ripples through the fields and affects how we step into this higher frequency, which it's there, but it's also still being created. So it's because it's there in its essence of the blueprint, and it will become more visible and tangible as everyone on this level, I call it levels for lack of a better word, says, I'm ready to do my piece. What is my piece? And grasping and accessing your causal field, your causal gifts, and say, what is my part of the plan? Because everybody has a piece. And so as that happens, and we match our frequency to this is my part, and step into that and start playing with it, that expands the field of visibility of the new earth. I hope that makes sense. So it's, it's like building a morphogenic field in a sense, that as each person does their piece and expands into that higher frequency of the new earth and sees it, acknowledges it, claims it, then it becomes more and more visible in more and more places, because people are leaving behind the rest of it. It's kind of like with the 4 agreements, what the Toltecs talk about becoming the dream of New Earth. It's that. And each person has a part in that.
Everybody has a part in it. And this is why it's so important to hold your vision of New Earth.
Yes.
We have been saying this for decades now, not a decade. And so as you worked on the causal plane with the frequencies and energies of New Earth, how do you see New Earth? What's your vision of New Earth?
For me, because where I came from, our world, our universe is very much in that state of paradise, of all this exquisiteness. And so when I look at it, I see it's interesting putting these things in English, but I just see the family of light being absolutely present everywhere. And we're, for instance, in a forest, we're talking to the trees are talking to us. The Devic and elemental realms are very present, walking with us, talking with us, creating with us. Our galactic brothers and sisters are coming and going, helping us do different things on the earth. There's all this conversation about what do we want to create, how are we going to create it, which is because this really is the essence of what this planet, why it was created, and this whole energy around the living library is it is an absolute magnificent schoolhouse. And so beings from all over the multiverse are coming here to learn. And so as New Earth occurs and really becomes present, this becomes a conscious present. You're just having that experience. It's not something we have to create in an animated movie anymore. It's happening right here. We see everyone. We are present with everyone of all the different realms. The earth is healed. The frequency, the water is violet, almost blue violet. The sky is kind of lavender. The rainbows and the sacred fire are present in things. We have elemental friends. The backdrop that I created, that I put here, I put a dragon in it because my dragon friend from home has joined me here and made himself very present. His name is having me call him Foster, and he and I'm in my homeland a dragon rider, and so I have that connection with the realms and do work in that way with Foster, who is this very big, lovely green dragon. So he's here too, and he says hi. And but it is that, it's knowing that instead of walking down a trail or going to the ocean and wondering what everyone is saying, you're having that conversation very clearly and playful, and the magic that is stored in the living library comes forward, and you look at it and go, what do I want to create with this? It's just a very present conversation. It's very magical.
Wow. I love that you said that you are a dragon rider.
Mm.
And I can hear, here we are in the year of the dragon in the lunar calendar. and it's really powerful. Tell us more about dragons then, and why we don't see them here on Earth, and will we see them again on Earth? You know, I do have to say, as we're talking about nature, I've seen in nature, we had a flood come through my hometown. Oh, it was years ago, a decade ago, and it uprooted some trees, and I would be sad that the trees, you know, were taken out during the flood. But out of the base of the tree, as its roots were lifted up, there was the head of a dragon with a beard and everything. And it was so vivid. It was so obvious, a dragon. And that dragon was there for years. Then they came and they cleaned out that little area of the woods. And I was so concerned. I was like, oh, if they remove that stump or that log, I'm going to want it. I'm going to take it to my yard. But they didn't. They
Oh,
left, they cleared everything all around it. It was almost like a protection.
yeah.
Is this what we get with the dragons? Is that the support, or what can you share on this?
So yes, the dragons are very much guardians, but they are so much more than that. They are, because they are part of the realms of magic, when you team up with them, the magic that they are infuses with the magic that you are, and you become a partnership in this creative process and activity within the universe, where if you are assisting as a protective force, then you come forward in that way, and you are using the magic of creation and working with the language and the interfacing with the different elements to have things happen that need to happen to assist the process that you're in part of the protective force for. For instance, on the earth, there are areas, I don't know how many people have spoken about this on your calls, Loren, but that we do have forces of the light here working and clearing out very dark things and assisting in rescues and these kinds of things. So at night in the quiet times, Foster and I are part of the teams that go out with the white hats and work on these things to help clear out and protect, and to bring rescue to those who need rescuing, and to heal the land through, I work a lot with, we work a lot with the opalescent ray, which is the ray of transformation and transfiguration. It's from the 12th dimension. And so as the clearing and the corrections are happening on the physical level, we bring in these higher frequency qualities, which again are all represented in the library. And we come in and we heal and bring in the blueprints that need to come in to replace what's happening. So that's an instance. But we also help with, on a lighter note, we also come in and teach and remind people what partnership is. And the partnership can take many forms and be with many beings. And where there is no language barrier, even though you look completely different, that there is this connection through intuition, through universal language, where you come together and you become one, and you go out and working on the divine blueprints and the anchoring, the establishment of different fields of energy. It's these kinds of things that the elemental realms and the realms of magic are very actively involved in, is bringing the energies down from the etheric field into the physical. So as far as seeing the dragons, they are actually here etherically.
Mhm.
But And you will see them in the cloud formations like ship clouds. You will see the dragons when they are present working with the galactics. You can see them if you have the eyes and willingness to notice that they will show up in many, many forms. They also are part of the earth, like what you witnessed, Loren. And when I was up on the Oregon coast, there's part of the Oregon coast that is full of dragons, big dragon rocks, people call them. There's the dragon rock, they're dragons, and they show up in many on the ground. You can see scales in the water, the root systems and the ley lines. Dragons are very actively working with the ley lines. So there are many, and I will talk about this in detail in my masterclass because I have a lot of photographs that help to help people see how to see them and how to connect with them. Yeah. So
it's so fascinating. It really is. And we're all looking back at how we've seen the dragons in the clouds. It's really very, very cool. Okay. And that they are here assisting the ley lines on our planet. Okay. So let's talk more about the living library of Gaia and how we can tune into that, how we can begin to see the etherics. How can we do that as humans? What needs to be done?
Yeah, that's such a beautiful question. And it really is, from my vantage point, what is required, what the opportunity is for people is twofold at least. One, to get firmly into the knowing, embrace the knowing that all these beings and things are real, conscious, present, and right here before our eyes. And allow our frequency to come in and match that knowingness. And have it be, and it's through the innocence. It's not through the mind. It's through the innocence and the remembering of all of our family in all its forms. And so that's a big part of this, is the knowing and the choosing to see. But then the conversation about frequency. In anybody who read or saw the movie, I don't know if I'm going to be able to remember it. Oh, heck. Just went right by here. But they talked about the softening of the eyes.
Oh, the Celestine prophecy.
Thank you. I was going, no, it's not the Chronicles of Narnia, but yes, the Celestine prophecy. And that was when that first conversation really came in about how to soften our eyes and soften our hearing as well. And it really is, to me, that softening is very much about the mind quiet, which there's so much conversation about, but the softening is coming back in touch with the innocence within our hearts and within our souls, and the knowing that if we think about it, then we know that it's real, because that's just how the universe works. And so then we get to soften and allow the walls of keeping life out. So much has happened on this earth because it's been a fairly traumatizing experience being here. And so their fields have become rigid, and we've become self-protecting and, put fields up, put protection up, put all these things up. But in order to connect with these realms, we get to breathe, certainly keep ourselves in a sphere of gold light and violet light, but then to relax and get curious again and say, I know you're here, and I love you, and I appreciate you, and I'm at peace with you, and I am choosing to play with you. And all these things connect into that softness that allows these beings to feel safe enough to come out and show themselves. So in my photography, what I did years ago was I was guided to say, I am here to take pictures of you and take them out to the world. If you feel safe with me, I will be your advocate. And so because of that, they've started showing up, and anyone can do this. And if you are in a true place of reverence and peace with whoever you're choosing to communicate with, they will show up. You may see them with your eyes, but you may see them best through the lens of a camera. And this is something I'm developing, is a program for people to use their camera as a bridge between dimensions, because the digital energy of our cameras captures these things where our eyes will not see them yet. And so it's a really marvelous way to take that bridge, and then you have the intention, I'm choosing to see you, I'm choosing to collaborate with you. And then you could take photographs and they can safely show up through the digital process. And then over time, you can develop a deeper awareness of them with your personal physical senses. But it's a lovely bridge to use the cameras and such things. I've had amazing beings show up on my photography that I knew were there, but I couldn't see them with my physical eyes, but they all showed up in my camera. So it's a really fun way to do it.
Wow. Okay. I know we have seen miraculous things so you're taking photos of nature
Mhm.
and things in nature, and you're sensing it. You know that they're there.
Mhm.
Your human eyes can't see it. And you take your camera out and there you can see it. So I know you mentioned that you're going to be teaching a course on this with all your photos, but can you share a few photos, or can you could you if you have them handy, you can share your screen, but
Yeah.
that would be wonderful, maybe just to describe some things on this and what you learned from it. And that is then how we partner, right? And then you open the lines of communication
Mhm.
with these beings. And
Absolutely. It's part of that. It's part of the developing. Um, I guess it comes along in that line of validation. It's like and it's going to be different for everyone. I see a lot through my third eye, but I haven't triangulated my physical eyes with my third eye. So sometimes for me to see what I'm seeing through my third eye, I have to really focus in my forehead, I can't, it's a little bit of a project for me still. And yet I'm very clairsentient. And so my feeling body tells me everything that's going on, and then I bring it into my other senses. So depending upon who you are and what sensory awareness you have, your experience with this is going to be different as far as how you access these things. Now, part of this is I can very much see the galactic ships. They're certainly under clouds, most of them, but you can still see them. I identify them. I can see the angels. I can see the dragons. I look in the sky and I know. And part of this is through frequency, is I feel their essence, and then I look in the sky and know they're there. And then I go in. So that's the door I use, is through my feeling body. But some people are going to have that through their visual body, and it'll be a more a clairvoyant experience. And people do see things in the field, not just the auras, but they will see the different beings very clearly. And again, I can do that through my third eye, but I will have beings come and visit me in my home, and I will walk through the room and I will know that there is somebody sitting in my chairs and everything. I can sense their fields. So these are part of that. So then I start speaking to them and hope that I haven't sat in their lap by accident, because they're in my chair and I'm like, whoopsie, But when we're out in nature, it shows up, these beautiful beings show up in the stones, in the trees. They'll leave us trinkets like heart rocks and things to let us know that they're there. And these are all parts of the way of broaching the bridge between us, because they're being very tenuous about this process, because for the most part, people are still not quite ready to be, they don't trust people quite yet until people really get to prove that they are going to be reverent. And for instance, that movie, The Fairy Tale, if anybody, if you've ever seen that, where the little girls took photographs of the fairies, it ended up in a newspaper, and all the people came, trampled the environment, and destroyed everything. This is what they're choosing to not have it happen again. So you get to prove individually on a one-on-one basis with these beings that you indeed are worthy, and not worthy, but ready to be reverent and have a divine partnership with them. And as that occurs within you, your frequency will automatically go up and match the frequency that they can come to for you to connect. And it's just intention. It's intention. It's being at peace and harmony, being in your innocence, being in a state of no harm. You know, they sense that you're doing this because you have some kind of agenda. That's not going to work. You know, it has to really be a pure heart connection. And so.
Wow, I know all of us watching want this. We want to open this up. And it's amazing because as you mentioned, you'll feel, you'll sense the beings before you'll see. But when I look up in the sky and I see a cloud, I call it a sylph.
Yeah.
It's obvious angel wings or a spirit.
Yeah.
That's what triggers me. And that's okay, right? Because then our mission is to pause and be present with that and partner with it. Let's go more into the partnering. Now, I know you've got this class and you're going to go over many details in this class with all your photos. How beautiful is that? But how can we begin to partner, or when we're out, like you said, we're going to tune in, we're going to be present, we're going to be at peace, we're going to be harmonized with no agenda, pure heart again. Do we invoke before we take a photo?
We absolutely. And you know, I'm trying to remember, I'm choosing to remember what I said initially. I think it was like I sang to them. If you show me your faces and let me take them in, I will share you with the world and let the world know that you are real. And that was my promise to them. And I sang that into the field. And that was the day that this started for me, where I had my camera in my hand and there I went. And I sang that promise to them.
Wow.
And it was just that simple. But it really is that state of harmlessness. And I'm sure everybody is aware that one of the primary universal laws is do no harm. So within ourselves, as we return to love and let go of all the trauma and let go of all the pain and just to choose to be in peace, that shifts the frequency of your field so that those who are around you in nature then can feel that truth within you simply because you are emanating that energy. And that is where the trust comes in, because they can feel your sincerity. And so it really is an inside out. Intention is a huge part of it. Choosing peace on a daily basis and allowing whatever inside of you is not peace, that gets triggered when we choose peace, to come up and allow you to make peace with it and allow it to go. And this is an almost daily process for people now because the light is so strong coming in. I have some friends, we joke about how we get up in the morning and we're like, woohoo, you know, we feel so great, all filled with the light. And then by the afternoon, the light is pushing all the stuff to the surface that has to go. And then we're like, oh God, here we go again, you know? And so, and it's almost a daily thing, whereas it used to be, it would be one day, you know, you'd feel great for 3 or 4 days and then you'd hit a wall. But now it's almost a daily process, you know? And, but this is the process. And people, the beings of light, the elementals and the divas and all these beings, they know your heart. They know your heart. They know that if you have this true energy of wishing to connect with them, partner with them, they know. And they're just waiting for you to get settled enough in here and get whatever out of the way needs to go so that you can connect in this way. They've been standing around waiting for a long time for us to heal enough to be willing to partner with them again. Because again, at the beginning of this experiment on Gaia, we did. Everybody, we were constantly co-creating with these beings and the overlights of the elements and all of these beings. Nothing can be truly created in form without them because they are an active part of the divine alchemy of the universe. So while we intend things and choose to co-create things, we go into the library and we get the tools. It is these realms, the elementals, the divas, who actually are working behind the scenes, weaving the energy in, allowing us to have the outcome. But they would like for this to be a visible, tangible partnership again, instead of them working behind the scenes. I mean, how many of us know what that feels like? We've been working behind the scenes. Nobody knows. You know, the rest of the planet is absolutely unaware of all the service that is occurring day in and day out by starseeds and these people. And we go unnoticed and for the most part unappreciated. So in that essence, you can say, I kind of know how that feels. And that can allow you in its own right to open your heart and your life to these beautiful beings who have been totally in the back end for so long, and yet a vital, vital part of everything that we're doing. So
Yes, yes. And as you were sharing there, I kept seeing, you know, the elementals that humans are detached from. And this is where we're getting strange weather patterns. Would you say this is why we get strong weather systems, as well as because we are out of balance with the elementals? Can you talk more about this?
sure. And this is, yes. So this, the elementals, the elementals, the elements, and all that make up form are all part of the responsive part of the universe, the responsive. In some schools with the I am school, they call it the impersonal I am. So, but its energy is responsive. And this was the agreement that all of these beings and the elements themselves took on as consciousness to promise to be responsive to the creator beings in the various forms that we are. And so this is when we get into be aware of what you are saying, what you are emoting out into the field, because all of us who are creator beings ripple, our energy ripples. We speak, we act, we do whatever, and it ripples into the field, goes into the consciousness of the elements, And in some way, in some form, unless we are immediately following our, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have said that, with a blast of the sacred fire, if we're not doing that active clearing work with the sacred fire, it builds up in the elements, and the elements, then Gaia and the elements have to balance the energy. And absolutely, that is a large part of what's going on. But we have the absolute ability to step in and cut it and diminish it by being active with the sacred fire, doing decrees. There are some, as I've shared before on my spiritual advocacy website, which is part of the Nature Whisperer, there are some decrees to help clear the elements, the elementals, the weather, that you can go in and actively, if you don't really know what to ask, go in there and play with those, and that will give you a sense of what you can do. But the biggest thing is, as part of the, I'll bring up the 4 agreements again because I was listening to them yesterday, being impeccable in our word. Being impeccable in our word is the most powerful of these agreements that helps us once again walk heaven into earth. And this is by being impeccable, we then think and really consider what we're saying before we speak, or we ask our presence and our overriding teams to consecrate everything that we are saying and doing each day with love and with joy and with kindness and these things, so that we have an influence coming in through our teams and through the universe to make sure that if something on the human level is stirring, that we don't spew it out into the field, that we have a field that buffers that and keeps it here close to home so that we can process it without causing damage. So that's part of that. But absolutely, absolutely, the imbalances in the weather have a lot. Certainly there are other influences that have been at play as well, malicious ones, but these are being wrapped up, and it will happen. The more we are impeccable in our own voice, the faster these other influences will leave, because they are a mirror of sorts, part of the control that has been in place for a long time, that everyone is saying no to. God is saying, we're done with this. And so by taking responsibility for ourselves and saying, we are just choosing peace and harmony in all forms, and we are taking responsibility for ourselves, then these other things will stop. That's my awareness.
Beautiful. Thank you. I wanted to share some comments coming in on our YouTube channel. We have yoga synthesis, high yoga synthesis, that says, I've seen these sacred geometry codes mixing Merkaba with flower of life watery codes and blues liquid crystal code inspirations for the new world, new templates. Wow. And she sees them all the time.
Sweet.
Well, that is so beautiful, and it's inspiring for our planet. It's showing us as humans who we are, what we're capable of,
Yes.
how we can, and actually it's reminding us of our time in Lemuria.
Yes.
And so I would think that Lemuria is much like your home universe, where it was that almost Garden of Eden, paradise codes environment.
Yeah.
And any of us who have heard the word Lemuria and felt it melt our heart know that that's what we're here anchoring back in. And so New Earth, in my vision as well, is like that. So it's really beautiful. Again, everyone hold your vision of New Earth and work with these magical frequencies of the living library. Now you have a course. We're going to talk about that course. I'm going to put the link in the Zoom box and the YouTube box.
Yeah.
But in this course, you go over things like looking at the cosmic patterns, as above, so below, colors as cues, sacred geometry. You know, we'll see the spiral. in so many things, the spiral of a fern, the spiral of a seashell, the spiral of whirlpool of water, different on the northern hemisphere and the bottom hemisphere, southern, not the bottom. But these sorts of things. And so you also call this patterns of purpose. Can you expand on what's going on here and the as above, so below?
Yeah, so I will, as we go into that, talk partly what's really important to have in our awareness. And again, this came back into my awareness to share through the Bringers of the Dawn. And so if you haven't read that book, it's on Audible if you like to listen, and you can get it in print. But what they were bringing in, the terminology that they used was light encoded tendrils. Light encoded tendrils. So what that is the blueprints get created through the intention, whether the intention is on the cosmic level coming in, we're at the Elohim and the Godhead saying, let's do this experiment. And then our influence as creator beings from wherever we are, these codes get filled with the blueprint energies that are required then to create whatever form it is, whether it's a leaf, a planet, a universe, all the same. So this is the microcosm and the macrocosm. But when you look at, for instance, a DNA helix, and it's this spiral, there are lines, these tendrils holding the ladders together. And each one is filled with a series of codes. And each one has a different wisdom that influences, a characteristic that influences the form that comes from all of this. So this is a huge part of this, being aware of these light tendrils that are brought in and create the form. And this is the divine alchemy process. So the living library was created through all these galactic beings, creators who said, let's do something fun. Let's take all the cosmic wisdom of numbers and patterns and just all of this knowing of how creation works, and we're going to hide it in all these beautiful forms and put it on this planet and let people find it by becoming intricately involved with the environment in which they live. And this is the mystery. This is the magic that we experience when we go out in nature and you start paying attention. And gee, look at the Milky Way galaxy, this big spiral. And then you look at water spinning down a drain, and it's kind of the same spiral going the other way. And look at the spirals in the seashells, like the Nautilus, which is the Fibonacci sequence. And each number, each size is the two previous things, like 1 and 2 are added together, the 3, 2 and 3, then 5, 3 and 5, then 8. And it just goes. So each component of the spiral is the addition, the sum of the two previous ones. And this is part of the messaging of how creation works. And it just goes on and on and on. I mean, everywhere we look, there is wisdom stored within the trees, when you look at a tree and it goes up in the branches and it branches out in such a way, and we will go over the more detail in the master classes, but this patterning above is the same patterning of the roots within the earth. So there are heaven and earth, as above, so below. There's that message. And also, the branching is similar to the way rivers branch, and it's the same way that our cardiovascular system branches into the vascular system. It is also the same pattern as the way the energy streams throughout the multiverse. There are a very unique, limited number of patterns in the entire creative process, but they are used in all these different ways to create everything. And so becoming familiar with them and what their frequencies are, and you can just play and create amazing, amazing things. But they're all in nature, just waiting for us to come and find them. Pay attention. Look. And when you're out in nature, what is it that has caught your attention? Is it a blade of grass standing up very tall and saying, here I am? Is it a tree? Is it the swirling of the water? Is it a bird coming by and speaking to you? What are the things that grab your attention? Those are the things where the library is speaking to you and saying, I am here so that we can have this conversation and play together. Are you going to come and participate? It's an offering, constant, an offering of information, an offering of friendship. And that's what the library is all about. It's just a big book, lots of them. You know. So I think it's incredibly fun, obviously. You know, but.
You are giving the, let's see, I've often said that nature is the universe in action. And that's exactly what you've just described. Nature is reflective of the energies of the universe.
Yes.
That's so beautiful that as humans, we get to go find these codes, to be thrilled by these codes, to be attracted to the codes. It really is so beautiful. And I just love it. Thank you. Great comments coming in that people are loving it as well. So here's another question. We know, okay, so those are the patterns. Those are like the geometric forms, the patterns. Tell us about colors. What do you know about colors?
So the colors, so the soul energies of life, and again, you may already know this or not, are made up of a combination of patterns, sound, and color. So the colors, each color has a frequency and qualities associated with it. There are 12 basic ones that we work with on this planet. And they show up as our chakras. For a long time, people have only spoken about the 7 chakras of the physical form, but there are actually 12, and 8 through 12 are outside the body and go. The 12th one is actually at the galactic level, the 11th one, solar system, and down into these lower, and then closer to the soul star and in. So each one of the colors in nature aligns with the frequency band that allows that color to become visible, and that has certain qualities. So when the earth was created and the library was put into place, those who were creating it said, so we are going to allow nature to be the heart, the expression of the heart. And so it's green, which is the chakra color of the heart. It is also the color of truth, of science, and healing, and all these types of things. So the basis is there for that color. The different colors that come in, the reds and the oranges, each have an association with a chakra. And also in Chinese medicine and such things, they associate with an organ in the body. So each organ in our body has to do with the quality of frequency, which emanates out, comes back in. This is how our body is its own universe, speaking and connecting through these different fields of energy that are called color. So as we go up in frequency, the colors are becoming more iridescent, more opalescent, pearlescent. They're getting that shimmer to them because we're going into the higher frequencies where the energies are mixing a bit and also just being less solid. But when we're out in nature, and one of the questions people are asked all the time when you're a kid, what is your favorite color? So when you go, so what are my favorite colors? And then go deeper with it. What chakra is that a part of? What organ is that a part of? Where does that show up in nature? If it's yellow, then that's your power center. It's the color of the sun. It's the color of illumination. It's a color of joy in many ways. So there are all these things. It's like, so what, when I'm walking out of nature and I see a color, what color is that makes me go, wow, I love that? And why? What's the connection? Track it and follow it through the whole process. Crown chakra, violet. This is forgiveness, transformation, victory, freedom, on and on and on. The violet flame has so many qualities to it. And blue is the connection with the cosmos. And for a long time, it's been associated with peace, although on the greater scale of 12 chakras, gold holds the peace ray. But the blue, and it's about water, it's just nurturing, it's calming, it's, and what parts of your body are associated with that? We're at 80% water. So there's a lot of blue running around in there. So it's when you're looking at the colors and you have a chart, either in your mind or to look at, that says, what are the qualities of these colors and why are they speaking to me? Then you can really go into a conscious conversation about, why are they speaking to me? Is this part of my divine mission? Most people have one or two rays that are really hum with their mission and focus. And being aware of that can help you go, okay, so I really am humming with orange. I hear orange a lot. I love orange. These are people oftentimes are very passionate creators, and they're dancers and actors and people that are out moving with the creation process. And if it's, say, red, can be very grounding, and they're the people, they can be on what's coming to me as disaster teams, in the nurses and the doctors and the foundation people that keep the world safe and keep the structure in place. They work with the infrastructure. They work with the foundations of things. They are creating foundations that support the new earth coming in. So that can be the color of red and yellow together. So there are all these kinds of things to play with as far as what colors, when you're looking out in the world, jump out at you, and then go, gee, what does that have to do with who I am and what I'm doing here? So for me in particular, I walk in the emerald ray. That's a big part of what I'm doing here. And I work with the opalescence because I brought that with me. But the emerald ray, illuminate truth, people that are in the emerald ray humming that field, the mere idea of making something up and telling a fib, you just can't even do it. It's just like your body just goes, I can't even fathom doing that, because you're in that energy of illuminate truth all of the time. So your field, just by you being here, is emanating the cosmic truth out into the field. That's who you are as a person, silent in the room. Your body is still speaking these things out. So it's fun going with the colors. And I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place here, but when the qualities of the colors, and again, we will go over that part of the program, is a chart with all of the qualities. So then you can go in and go, I resonate with this. This is part of who I am. This is part of who I am. And then if you feel like you need to strengthen one of the other areas, then you can start wearing clothes that are a different color to bring that force into your field more, to balance you out. I am a tri-water sign. So I'm wearing today green, blue, purple, and I have gold on because I have so much water in my field that if I don't wear some other colors that help balance it, I can just get very swishy, and so I have to ground and I have to be aware of the power of that energy within me, that it's the blue and the green. So I wear a lot of the brighter colors to help bring that in to focus for me. And so they're all tools. Everything is a tool. Everything is a tool. And
Really fascinating. It's like, so then if you're out in nature and you see, it's a healer. It's a healer then. If you're out in nature and you're attracted to orange and you're feeling a little depressed, maybe that's because you are being infused with the joy essence of orange,
yes,
an orange flower. It's like the dolphins. The dolphins are, we're off subject there, but they are great transmuters of our pain so we can be in joy.
yes,
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'd like to jump into the animals in a minute too, as
Yes.
far as their role, but part of this too is what's called the doctrine of signatures. And the doctrine of signatures. So this is the signatures speak through color, through shape, through pattern, through environment, all these things. So if you're craving, your body is too blue and green or whatever, and you need more orange and red, you may find yourself in the grocery store buying oranges, bananas, lemons, red apples, beets, these things of these lower chakra colors, because your body needs that frequency. So pay attention to what your body's asking. Don't go shopping. I encourage people to, when you go shopping, allow your body to guide you as to if you go and say, what is best for my body right now to be in harmony and balance, and allow your body elementals and diva to guide you to the foods, because a lot of us tend to eat the same thing all the time. And if you're not eating the rainbow, you're missing out on some very important frequencies that are part of keeping your body in balance. So that's part of the doctrine of signature, which plays in the world in all kinds of ways.
Oh, wow. I love that. Okay. Remember to eat the rainbow. And so no wonder if you feel like eating blueberries for dinner, which I've done that before, because I needed more of the crown chakra opened or support for that.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Really fascinating.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the animals then.
So the animals, years and years ago, when I had not been here very long, Master Katumi came to me and he said, at that point, he wanted me to write books about all these things, which I haven't actually done. But he said, the animals are the seat of power for humankind, the seat of power. And that leads into all the animal totem conversation that the indigenous people started. Ted Andrews wrote Animals Speak, and now there are all kinds of people who have brought forth the animal totem energy and concepts. But the seat of power, what they are as part of the living library for the most part, is through their forms, through their colors, through such things, they speak to us about how to embody our power through joy, through singing, through playing, through strength, through courage, through family, through, they're all doing a different expression, but they're all telling us how to get back into divine power and be that for the planet in some way. So the animals are that. The crystal realm is the seat of creation. The crystalline realm, the light encoded tendrils, are part of the crystalline field. So everything that is a thought in the consciousness that comes into form does it through the crystalline realms. So they are the seat of creation. And then the vegetation in all its splendor is just part of the library, the historians, the teller of the tale, the expressing of the healing, this is where you'll find the healing, this is where you're going to find this. So they are holding this huge field of just information, as well as supporting the well-being of the planet. So they all have a role. And then, as we've spoken, the elementals, the divas, the realms of magic are the weavers. They are our partners in co-creation, the divine alchemy essence. And all of them play a part in the creative process. So it's really important, I feel, for people, when you're out and about and there's an animal shows itself to you, ask, say, hey, how you doing? And see if they have something to share with you. Have they popped into your field because you asked a question that had something to do with why they have shown up to give you an answer? Or is it just a friendly, hi, just coming by to say hi? It can be one of both of those things. But oftentimes when we are actively or passively asking questions, pondering something, the animals will show up, the plants will show up, and they'll go, hello, paying attention. We are giving you the answer you are seeking is here. So it's part of that, Prime Creator is talking to itself through all of us all the time. So we can to expand and really enjoy that, the ways in which the questions are answered. And that's the joy of living in the library.
So beautiful. I can sense each of us want to get out in nature right now and contemplate in nature. And no wonder a hike in nature, a walk in nature, a drive in nature when we're feeling down or sad or whatever, always lifts us up. It's really key. It's really important. So it just makes sense that that's why so many of us are so determined, committed to protecting nature.
Yes.
And so where's the balance of I don't want to say warrior for nature, because there's an allowance as well. So this is really about partnering with nature, partnering with nature, becoming attuned with nature so much that our frequency with nature then becomes an influencer for others around us to start protecting, caring. Let's say, I want to move away from certain words, but caring for the earth, loving the earth.
Yeah, being an advocate, being a spiritual advocate, guardian, steward. These are the things, the voice, and the advocacy is when you are doing it through the voice, through writing, through whatever. And part of the process too, which I will bring forth here, is the conscious stepping in to unity, affirming the field of human unity. One of the decrees I put on recently on my website is, I am now in the unified field of creation. I am always in the sacred hoop, the field, the unity field. And in that stepping into that, we are officially closing the door on separation. I'm sorry, but I'm done. Thanks, but I'm done. So the separation door closes, the duality door closes. We're stepping into unity, where we really look at everything as part of Prime Creator and part of ourselves. And so then everything that we are saying, thinking, feeling, and doing is reflected through what we have in the outer world. It all becomes part of that conversation. And as we do that more, it is part of the being in the world, but not of the world. But it's also a part of our being able to, through observation and through awareness, we can advocate without being down in the trenches anymore. And the Toltecs do talk about it as being warriors, but they're being warriors for heaven. But we can drop the warrior word and just say advocacy. I'm choosing to be an advocate, a steward, a bringer of the truth that is the dream of heaven. And so there are different ways you can upgrade the language to make it more comfortable for you, I think. So
Yes, upgrading the language. I love stewards of earth. We are
Yeah.
stewards of earth. I think every person watching or listening to this is a steward of the earth. Yes, so powerful, wonderful. Emmaray, wow. Okay, so you've taken a lot of photos and you're going to share those photos in the class as illustrations of what you're talking about. And so that's an exciting feature. And people will be able to go out and take pictures of their own and learn to decipher these messages, to learn to commune with nature as the beautiful hearts that we are, the
Yes.
beautiful stewards that we are.
Yes.
Share with us more about your master class.
Okay. Well, I will, there's a couple of things that have happened with this process, which I really this morning was looking at and got to chuckle. Because when I was creating this new class, two things. One, I am now currently in the desert. And I'm used to living on the ocean and living in the forest. And now I've been in the desert in the winter, which where everything is dormant, you know. And it's just been this really interesting process for me to connect with my creative energies and to bring in the conversations that I chose to offer in this masterclass in this place that's kind of this null zone in so many ways. And yet at the same time, the galactic forces, because we're right on a huge fault line here in Nevada, and it had become very unstable because there's geothermal drilling going on and things. So there's been all this activity in the sky going on. So I started working with the Living Library thing and talking and doing, I've created 3 MP3s talking about the Living Library, talking about the history and some of the building blocks of actively and passively connecting. And I put those out as part of the offer in addition to these 3 initial masterclasses where we're going to talk about awareness, observation, how to modulate your field so that you can be aware of the answers when they're coming, how to ask the questions that then allow you to actively go into the library and be inquisitive about how the answers will come. But as part of that, when I was reviewing it, I realized, and then I re-listened again to the Bringers of the Dawn the other day, I went, oh, I think there's a little bit more. So what I'm sharing here is when you sign up, I will be adding to the package that is on the website another meditation that will help you in your connecting. And also I spoke in there about 2 beings, an overlighting diva named Opal, and a wolf dog that used to walk with me named Ishine, who is staying on as a guide. And she is in a phenomenal amount of my photographs talking to a variety of spirits. And she takes great joy in helping people see beyond the right in front of you by expanding your senses. So these 2 beings are going to be part of the master classes. I will bring them in different forms for them to, and you can call them in as your individual selves to assist you in paying more attention when the answers are coming to speak to you. So they have come in as, so it's a team. When you sign up for the masterclass, you're getting me, Ishtini, and Opal, and possibly Foster too. He is saying he will also come and help. So you have a team of us coming in, most of us interdimensional, but I'm in a body, and we will help you to see and to expand into this field and really get to play. So it's about playfulness. It's about intention of writing, what is it you would like to learn? What would you like to create? What would you like to be surprised and just have some awareness? For instance, I'm being guided to say, for instance, in the doctrine of signature, one of the things that we look for is where things are growing. Are they growing close to the water? Are they growing high up on a mountain? Are they growing on the side of a tree? All of these things in the plant world indicate what the wisdom is they hold within them. Has to do with the environment. So all of this ability for us to develop, get out of our tunnel vision that we have been programmed into all of our lives, do it like this, and start really looking around and listening and seeing the messages. And again, what is calling your attention? Because that is an answer to a question that you have. And so these are all the things that we will go through in the masterclass to help you become more aware of yourself, who you are, what your body is up to, what your mission is, what are the questions that you are asking, that your presence is asking of you, that the environment is suggesting to you, and how is that all coming together so that you can open this cosmic book and find the answers, not in a school, in a building, but out in the world through this cosmic library. And this is what the shamans do. This is going to make everybody into a shaman. This is really about that, because the shamans are always talking to everybody. That's one of the things that made them so special. But it really is the truth of everyone's abilities to do.
This is how we are stepping into new earth and the new human. And I absolutely love it because we are ready for it. We are. And start looking, listening, and seeing the message. What is calling your attention is the answer to your questions. So beautiful. And your interdimensional team will be working with us and helping us recognize our interdimensional teams and listening to the messages. Again, this is an important aspect of being a steward of the earth and bringing in new earth. So it really is exquisite and wonderful.
Yeah.
We are excited. What a beautiful course.
Well, thank you. I'm excited that you're excited because the planet is excited. The library has essentially lived dormant, except for a few people like Tesla and some people that have been paying attention, and the indigenous shamans and people. But for the most part, for such a long time, it has just been a closed book to everyone. And now it's saying, whoopee, let's open the books. Let's let the magic flow and allow you to become the truth of who you really are. Yeah.
Tune with nature. It's oneness.
Yeah.
We are returning not only to love, but we are returning to oneness. We are going to recognize oneness and unity in nature, symbiotic relationships in nature. And I think that's just darn good for humanity and relating with others as well.
Absolutely. Because it is all within us. Our bodies are part of the library. This is really important to remember that our bodies, temples, and our relationship of our soul spirit to our bodies is essentially the same thing as the soul spirit that is embodying all of nature. And that everything has a soul spirit of sorts, has part of the consciousness. And so when we are out in nature, we are speaking to ourselves. Creator is speaking to herself, his self. And it's just a conversation. That's why it's a book, that we're having a conversation with our greater self to learn and expand and grow, which the universe is always doing. But this planet is of such an importance And I do, if you haven't read or listened to The Bringers of the Dawn, I really encourage you to do that. Because in there, they speak about this process that is going on Earth is at the center pole of this huge shift for the entire universe and beyond. So what's going on down here that we all came to be a part of is influencing, creating an upward spiral and expansion for life everywhere in the universe and beyond that. So it is a magical, magical experience. What you will learn with the library, reigniting your mastery, will allow you to be part of seeing a desolate lot or a torn up forest become its immaculate self again. Because that is the power that is in this process with us all. And stepping into the quantum field. So, you know.
So beautiful. Emmaray Kumara, thank you for your divine connection with nature, for your coming to our planet as a walk-in from another universe. For the first time, your soul has been on Earth, and you are leading all of us into being stewards for the Earth. What a beautiful gift. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so honored and grateful to be out getting to speak to all of you and be a part of this. You just have no idea what a blessing this is after so much time of being in the world and be kind of not a part of it, but just being this light pole on the ground, calling everything in. And now I get to play with all of you, and I'm just so delighted. So thank you.
We are delighted as well. And so we invite our audience to join Emmaray. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a beautiful webinar series. 3 sessions with her. There's also an option for a personal session. How precious is that? For her to assist you in opening your channels of communication in all ways with nature and interdimensionals as well, I will say. So
Yes.
that is really wonderful. Emma, as we say goodbye, I just want to give you a moment for final thoughts.
Well, there's 2 things. One, I just ask that everyone that is listening and will listen to really feel the immense gratitude that is coming forth. It's the hope answered. It's the victory inspired and embodied, coming forth as life sees you stepping into your mastery and stepping into your willingness to be the advocate and the steward for life and to be their playmates of life again. And there's just this great, it's like the door is opening and everyone is standing on the other side going, fine, you know, it's this yay, but also this, oh, please let it be true, you know. And so there's this incredible energy field within the library of saying, oh, I get to take the dust off, you know, and shake it out and really shine and be the guiding force that I'm here to be. So I will share that. And the other thing I am being guided to say is that I am in the process of creating in-person retreats to teach some of these things and immerse people. And the first one, thanks to Loren and Patricia, who was on the call, will be in Costa Rica, where I am going in the middle of March, and we will be developing retreats, immersions into this interdimensional world to occur in Costa Rica. So stay tuned for all of that. So.
Very cool. And so other places as well, I just want to put out there, if anyone would like to connect with Emmaray for a retreat in your neighborhood,
Yeah.
reach out to Emmaray.
Yeah.
I will be happy to connect you as well, but she is on a mission. She's on a mission for Earth, for all the Earth stewards. And I think that's so beautiful. And I just look at all the children. The children already know the beauty of nature. And I just see the world shifting into world of stewards. And we're getting there. I think there's still going to be some roughness in the collective, but as long as we do this and we anchor this fully in ourselves and we hold our vision to new earth, it will happen.
Yes.
It will. It'll be a beautiful.
It already is in place.
In
And
the etheric, yes.
in the etheric and in the quantum field, which is a whole different conversation, which you have a lot of speakers coming. But remember, it's not linear. And remember the energy of the butterfly effect and how that is. And that's something else we'll talk more about.
So, pick up a piece of trash
Yeah.
in your neighborhood on the side. I literally stopped my car to pick up plastic.
Yeah.
And actually, I've seen that transform the neighborhood, where then I just saw a bunch of people on the road picking up trash in an organized way.
Yeah.
So I just have to chuckle at things like that. And that's what you're talking about too.
That's the butterfly effect.
A hug,
Absolutely.
a hug or an act of kindness.
Yep.
We got this, as we remember that we are all one.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you, Emmaray Kumara. We are so grateful for your sharing today. You have left us in a very gracious way. We are grateful for your wisdom and your teachings, and we're also excited to learn more about this in the course that you have to offer. Thank you again for all of this today. Thank
You're
you.
very welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. Blessings to everyone.
And thank you to beautiful people in our Zoom audience and watching this show. You are stewards of the new earth, and we thank you for your bright light and your love for Gaia. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.